I've been able to tell which is a false positive and which is a real positive. The company doesn't even know this. They think it's all real, those fake positives.
The one thing that really stands out to me, there's actually many of them, but one of the things that I love is that you actually can tell your patients if this egg allergy that pops up is real or not.
Yeah.
Because not all egg allergies that show up on a test are real. And there's a reason for that.
Most are fake.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is that's what I call a false positive. And even on the best test, there's something called a false positive. There's still a percentage, but I've been able to tell which is a false positive and which is a real positive. And I've taught you guys how to share that with clients, and I teach clients how to do that. The company doesn't even know this. They think it's all real, those fake positives. I mean,
and the cool part is it's not your witchy intuition that's figuring this out. This is actually science, right?
Data. Yeah.
Absolute science, absolute data.
Hi, I'm Maggie Yu, MD, and I'm a functional and holistic medicine physician and the creator of the Transform and Transform protocol. If you're interested in learning what are the root causes of all chronic disease, go ahead and click the link in the description where I have a power-packed 30-minute training that goes over what are the 5 pillars of Transform. Go ahead, click the link, and I'll see you in that training. There's hidden clues in the data that actually can discern what's a false positive and what's not. For example, an egg. Allie, what about you?
I was going to say egg, but this is the functional way. Like, you always have to have context. And it's funny when we watch you do a review with clients and then you ask a follow-up question, they already have the answer that you thought could be the reason why, the backstory, they have that answer. And so that's the functional ways where we're digging through, and that's really evident when we're reviewing the food mapping results. Like, for instance, the almond,
right?
Comes up so often on folks who are newly gluten-free. And they're like, what? How can it be almond? I eat it all the time, right? I eat it all the time. And the follow-up question is always, when you went gluten-free, did you switch to almond everything? Well, yes. Oh,
yeah.
Right?
So here's something interesting. Terry H, coming in from YouTube, says any symptom could be related to food. So I think there's a big misconception out there, because here's the deal. How many of you as patients know that you're reacting to the food and you think, which doctor am I going to see for this? You go see the allergist and you see the GI doctor, and they say, no, it's not your food, right? And my thing is, let's talk symptoms for a second, right? Most people think if I'm reacting to food, it's going to be a GI gut-related symptom. I'm going to get gas, bloating, heartburn, diarrhea, or constipation. Okay, how many of you guys get those reactions? Type in chat. Here's the thing. Many people do get those. And a lot of people call it irritable bowel syndrome. And a lot of people go to their GI doc, and the GI doc is like, no, it has nothing to do with food. Because you know what? They're not specialties in food reactions or food allergies, right? So they say it has nothing to do with your food. And so that's a problem. Here's the other problem. The non-obvious food sensitivity related symptoms. What are some non-obvious related symptoms that you've personally had or you've seen other people have that are absolutely related to food, but yet patients are going to get poo-pooed? The doctor's going to poo-poo them. Jason?
Yeah, there's so many, right? Ranging from AI flare-ups, autoimmune flare-ups. One of the biggest things that I see, just kind of recurrent, when people have exposure to, foods that they're sensitive to, is pain. Kathy mentioned pain, in her story. I hear, joints swelling up, muscles being sore, headaches coming on, certainly brain fog, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, POTS, cardiovascular issues, MCAS. The list goes on and on that could be food related. So Terry nailed that in that comment, just about anything.
And I've shared my own personal experience in the program as well, which was that for me, I remember when I didn't even realize that I had chronic urinary tract infections that would land me in the hospital. And I was so resistant to all the oral antibiotics. I would have to have IV antibiotics. This went on for 10 years. And I didn't even figure it out until I had to go gluten-free for my food sensitivities. And I was accidentally exposed about 6 months later. And I immediately had a urinary tract infection. And I literally had to call the restaurant like that I had dinner at the night before. And I said, that blackened catfish, was it gluten-free? And you told me it was gluten-free. And they're like, yeah. I go, do you make the spice or is it on a bottle? And they're like, it's in a bottle. Can you read me ingredients? Right. And there was flour. Right. That's when I was like, oh my goodness, chronic urinary tract infections, gluten sensitivity or food reaction, bingo. And it changed my practice. Every woman or man that came in with recurrent urinary tract infections now, I always go through, oh, what are the food sensitivities? And that's how I've eliminated most of these people's urinary tract infections. And who knew that your recurrent urinary tract infections was related to food sensitivities, right? That's my experience. What about you, Allie?
Hormones. Hormones and
Ooh.
weight gain. Hormones and weight gain. This happened to me because I didn't think I had any food sensitivities, but I had this weight gain that was really making me insane because I'm a nutritionist, I'm a fitness person. Like, why is this happening? I don't understand. Went and did my food mapping, and oh, lo and behold, the whey protein, Jason, the whey protein that I was having to support my muscles was actually causing severe inflammation in my gut. And, a couple of other things, take them out, down 6 pounds, like magic.
I had a really good question here that Robin had brought up. The question Robin brought up was, what's so different about the food mapping system versus just going to get a test for IgG testing for food sensitivities? Could any of you answer that?
Yeah, I can speak to that. I think, pre-working, with you at Transform and the team at Transform, I think that I was mostly just eliminating. I'll just be like super honest about that. I was one of those guys because that's what we were taught to do. What I understand now is that it's a system, that it's not just the food, it's the way we're digesting the foods, it's the way that our body is processing and metabolizing out histamines. It's about, microbiome balance with healthy probiotics. And I mean, there's so much more built into, just nutrient density. There's so much more built into just eliminate this food, right? And getting clarity on that. It's the whole digestive process and it's the whole GI tract.
To learn more about the food mapping system and my food mapping masterclass, click the link above or below this video.